let you finish your story real quick. I just want to make sure that you don't let that bar, the bar that you said in the very beginning, go over your head, because I think a lot of people give up too soon. You faced adversity with the kid. You argued in front of it. Think about if you had left.
I
Then what?
know.
So if I'm talking to you, not you, Jamai, if I'm talking to you and you're facing adversity and you have a goal and you have a dream, you got to keep going, because you don't know who you could be affecting if you quit, or if you don't quit, who you could be affecting in a positive way. So Jamai, I'm sorry, finish your story, but I didn't want that to go over people's head, because that was big, man. Go ahead, pause. Go ahead.
No,
Hey, family. This is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 36. We are killing it out here doing mad episodes, man. Mad episodes. So we have a special treat for you guys tonight. We are again 36 episodes in, and this gentleman who I have today, he stunned on me, y'all. He stunned on me. I asked him to be on a podcast months ago. He's like, "Yo, slow down with your little podcast. I'm not ready yet. Wait till you get a little
I'm
bit.
going to address that.
Wait, just wait a little bit." And then I asked him. I said, "Please, sir, please be on the podcast." But nah, this is my guy, man. This is Jamai Robinson. This guy is multifaceted. He has a lot going on in his personal life, as far as business and his endeavors, and we are going to get into it today. He's actually a business partner of mine as well, of the Legacy Bounce Company. So you see the Bounce Company on my Instagram and on the podcast. He is a part of that as well. And this has been a conversation that I've been waiting to have, because, again, on this podcast, we talk to people that are doing great things out here in this community. Also, people that I admire. We will get into why I admire this guy in a little bit, but Jamai, can you just introduce yourself? Tell them who you are. Tell them what you do at this point in time. Thank you.
All right. So to introduce myself, first of all, number one, I'm an Eagles fan.
Woo!
Then after that, I'm a God-fearing man. But with that being said, seriously, I am just a man that is all about the community. I'm focused on the community. Before I introduce any other parts of myself, let me give a shout out to the one and only beautiful wife, Cherish. That's who I am. That's who I am. Look, I just got something new and I had to give it to her. So everything I get goes to her. Let me just put it that way. That's who I am, right? And then also a father of three, a brother, a friend, and just a person that really wants to and strives to leave a legacy that was inspired by my mom, right? To give back to the community, but leave a legacy that says, hey, our homes can stay a home, if you know what that means, and not just a house. And I know it's a lot to that statement, but there's some people that just have lives that are houses, right? They just are housed in a certain part of life, right? But not a home where the things that are doing are done with love, right? Yep. That people are coming to break bread and fellowship and, have lasting memories with them. And that's what I want my legacy to be, right? Not just a place that they say I'm a vessel, but a place where people can leave their memories and make it a home.
Bro, that's dope. Because now it makes me realize what you're doing, because every year you have something at your house where you get the guys together, we come through, we break bread. I'm like, yo, Jamai, what you want me to bring? Don't worry about it. Don't bring anything. I'm like, nah, I'm not that guy, man. I need to bring something. And it's just, we have a good time. Hopefully the Eagles lose, and then I have a but just having a good time around good brothers, man. And when I talked about having a newer friend group on the podcast before, Jamai is one of the guys who's a part of the new friend group. Like, we've known each other for a while. We played basketball at church and things of that nature, joked around or whatever about the Eagles and the Cowboys and stuff. And just getting to know Jamai has enriched my life. So, but one of the things that, and I'm just going to get into it, Jamai. One of the things that I admired about you, because I've worked in corporate before, right? And I work in corporate now, matter of fact, and I have, some side things going on. But for you worked at Wells Fargo before, and I think that's when I first had an interaction with you, because I think I bought some money in from I don't know if it was a branch or whatever where I was working at, but I remember meeting you. You were branch manager, if I'm not mistaken, and then we saw each other at church, right?
Yes.
And the thing that I admired about you is that a few years later, well, actually many years later, then you became a teacher.
Correct.
And if you are a teacher, not you specifically, but anybody who's listening who's a teacher, mad respect to you.
Yes, definitely.
Because it takes a special individual to be a teacher, to teach somebody else's kids. But during the pandemic is when I really realized how special teachers are and the things that they have to go through, and how underpaid and underappreciated
they are.
So for you to leave a corporate job and then to go teach somebody else's kids was huge for me to see that in you. So shout out to you, bro. That's why among other things, but that was big. So walk me through that process of, hey, I'm leaving my corporate job and I'm going to go be a teacher. Like, walk me through that whole process, if you don't mind.
I don't know if you're ready for the story, and I think I need some lawyers when I tell the story, but I'm gonna try to give you the PG short version of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to that transition, that was all based on God, and it was nothing other but Him. I'm gonna be honest with you. And it comes to a full circle, back to unknowingly and knowingly but unconsciously, it comes back to the inspiration of my mom, right? My mom graduated at the age of 16. She went to college for quick stint because she became pregnant early in her life, by my, let me say, sperm donor, right? But at the same time, I got to give him respect, my father. And to speed up the story, and when I was younger, and I went to Temple University, shout out to TU, and I went to school initially for business. And when my sophomore year, I took a macroeconomics class, and it was the only class I ever failed at in my whole entire life. And it discouraged me, and it made me want to go to teaching. And it was based on like a conversation that I had with my mom. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna transfer to the School of Education. Well, they wouldn't accept me. And I had a good GPA. It was just funny. So the counselor was like, and it was an African-American woman, I'll never forget her. She was like, nope, I'm not letting you transfer. And I'm like, what? I'm paying. Nope, not letting you transfer. Speed up the story. I get a job at, I always had a job at a bank. I actually worked 3 jobs because I had a son at a young age. And I went from Bank of America to Wells Fargo, did really well there. And to the point where I was the co-chair of an affinity group where we represented all the African Americans in Delaware and in Pennsylvania. And we would go to New York for meetings, and that's a whole nother scenario. I can't give out those secrets, but things weren't fair. Let me say that. And with that being said, I've seen that things weren't fair. So I would go to community programs, especially nonprofits, always focused on financial literacy. They had this thing called Wells at Work, where you go out and you teach people about business. But I always took it a step further. Like I always wanted just my people to survive, to thrive, not survive, right? And moving forward, like even my staff, I had this big thing, like, and I don't call my staff, like that's my family. Still to this day we speak. My team, I literally would keep them after work and teach them financial literacy tips about how to create businesses and things of that nature. At the time, my leader, Robin, who still to this day, I texted him last week, man, one of the greatest leaders I've ever had. And he's not African American. Let me just say that. He is an Asian American and a banging person all the way around. But he was like, "Hey, man, you're doing some good things, and they're a little weird, but I get it, right?" And with that being said, he always encouraged me, "Hey, you're only going to go as far as your team, so make your team great." So that was always my focus, and I had to always show them that I wanted my community to be great. So I'm out in the community, I'm doing my thing, and Robin happened to move on to bigger and better things and go back to the West Coast where he was from. I get this new boss.
And this is at Wells Fargo?
This is at Wells Fargo.
Okay,
Thank you for
okay.
Yeah, I get this new boss at Wells Fargo who wasn't so keen on me being in the community. Mind you, I'm on the board of the YMCA. I'm the vice president of a nonprofit in her shoes that help women who are incarcerated get back into the workforce. Like I'm doing my thing, and he wasn't happy about that. And he really wanted to stunt my growth. And he seen that, I had a lot of influence in the area that I was at, just not my branch, but my community and throughout the company. And he just did little things to try to poke the bear, but I wouldn't leap. And then it just, came an opportunity was presented to me by one of my favorite couples, Cliff and Lori Hayes.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
We were on a program at Seeds of Greatness, just helping the youth with different activities, and they were basically presented to me, the possibility of being in education. And I was like, that the money, I'm not sure about that. Like, all right, I like talking, blah, 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 but the money. And let me just say, everything happens for a reason. So Cherish, my wife, was always getting on me about spending time at home because the bank is really demanding. It's not 9 to 5. Literally, the bank is like 7 days a week, at minimum 7 to 7. And when Lori and Cliff started presenting the idea, Cliff is always convincing. He's like, "Man, listen, we're going to the summers off, blah, blah, blah." And I started thinking about it, and then also started thinking about that boss that was just not allowing me to grow, right? And then I started thinking like, hey, why am I working here? What am I really doing? How am I impacting the community? If he's not allowing me to grow, I can't really get out into the community and teach like I want to. Like I'm in schools and things of that nature, and he's telling me to get out of the schools. Am I really satisfying my passion and my hunger?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question was no. Sure. So that being said, I said, okay, Cliff, let's do it. Let me do this interview. Let me see how it goes. Let's see if this works out. And after doing the interview and, the Newcastle County Votech, shout out to them, accepted me as a person with no teaching experience per se, but they seen the passion that I have for financial literacy. Said, okay, I'm gonna take a chance on you. That being said, as soon as I told the powers to be at Wells Fargo, don't you know they wouldn't let me go?
They tried to hold you to one of them Diddy contracts.
Yes. I lied to you not. I gave them my 2 weeks and they said, nope, we're not taking it.
That's crazy.
And I told them why, because of my boss. And they said, listen, can you give us more than 2 weeks? We got to investigate, because I told them some things that happened. Like I said, I would need a lawyer for this, but told them the things that happened. And they were like, let's investigate this. They did the investigation, and long story short, they said, listen, we see what you said was true, stay. And there's some opportunities that are coming down the pike, right? Just trust us. And so that made me go back and forth for myself, because I got an offer on the table. I got actually an offer for another bank as well on the table. And my current place I was at for 15 years is saying stay. So, that's a hard choice.
Yeah. So when you what's not when you what's funny to me about people who are overseers or bosses, whatever you want to call them, for people doing things in the community, what you don't see is that you're also promoting yourself, but you're also promoting the company that you work for.
Exactly.
Which would maybe, as the kids got older or the community people got older or wanted to work somewhere, hey, I remember that guy. Let me work with him. Let me do what he's doing. And it boggles my mind, bro, that your manager or boss, whatever, didn't see that and wanted to kind of stunt your growth. When if he promoted you, you would have stayed. And then also you would have been promoting Wells Fargo as well, which is insane. I don't understand that, bro.
Yeah, and that's just some people's mindset, especially if you're not a part of the good old boys club. It's just like, hey, how can you contribute really? Like you don't have the education, the experience, or the leadership. So no, I'm not going to trust you to advance in this area or advance us in this area. So, and the funny thing is, the people who told me to stay was his boss. So it was his boss. And long story short, I did eventually leave, of course. I went to education, but I still was getting calls after that. And I found out, I think it was a week or 2 weeks after I left. Mind you, I think I stayed for a month after I gave my resignation, because they just wanted to keep me on and around. They got rid of him like 2 weeks after I left. And then after that, and this is not just focusing on a race or anything, but this is facts. I'm just stating facts. Multiple African American leaders were promoted to district managers and above right after that. And so I always believed in my heart, like I had a great impact on that process, because they didn't want to lose any more talent that wasn't being recognized. And they didn't want to lose them to their competition or other industries. And as you said, when we leave, then the customers leave. And at that time, if you know the history of Wells Fargo, they were going through a lot of things, which they probably still are. That's not one area I believe that they wanted to focus on or do.
Gee whiz, man. And you said that your mom had you young or had other children?
My sister young, my older sister. Shout out to her. She was like my stepmom, and still is my stepmom. Yells at me to this day. So
that's what's up, man. And you're where are you originally from?
come on, man. I'm from the W.
I know,
you say
but
you
everybody
from the
doesn't
A.
know you.
I'm from the W.
You know where I'm from.
The W. Come on. That's 2 A's, yo.
So I'm always fascinated, bro, by life is hard as it is, right? And I'm always fascinated by people who, because you're from Philly, right?
Yes.
What part of Philly?
Born and raised West Philly. Are you listening? I get the future.
Some people might not have heard over the banter. They might not have but it's fascinating to me that people make it out of areas where they didn't grow up. And I'm sure you can identify with that, because I'm sure there's people that you go back to the old neighborhood, they're still there.
They're still there. Yeah.
Correct. So how did you get where you are? Like, what was the mindset of you getting to where you are now from where you came from? Like, what
it comes down to a simple scenario. My mom was a factory worker all her life, and I just seen how hard she worked. Like, I mean, at minimum, my mom did 16 hours a day. she would fall asleep in a car in front of the house at times. No lie. My neighbor, Mr. Mike, would tell you, like, that would be his routine to wake her up while she's in the car while it's running.
Yeah.
And I said I would never want to be that person. And my mom always thought I was crazy because I was like, Mom, I want to have the house with the white picket fence. And she was like, no, you're going to, even when I was in college, she was like, no, you're going to work for this factory. And I'm like, no, I'm going to have this house. And I think she used to do that just to check me to see if I'm still focused. Now that I think about it to this day, I don't think she ever really wanted me to truly work for the factory. And sometimes she would joke and be like, all right, well, at least can you get a job at Burger King or something? And I'm like, no, you tripping. I'm like, no, that's not happening. And I think that was because I didn't have that father, that was her way of manning me up, like kind of challenging me and punking me.
Yeah.
And that inspired me that I had to do better because I just seen how hard she worked for everything.
Right. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure there's other fatherless men that are watching this podcast and seeing you overcome certain challenges that you overcame, and then you made it over to the other side. And that's one of the things that we're talking about on this podcast, because some people get stuck where they are. They see their environment and they have that environment mentality where I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to live here forever. And for you to have the belief in the midst of your environment to be able to make it out is awesome, man. And I love seeing that. Yeah, I love seeing it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So another thing is that it sucks going through the things that you go through.
Yes,
the older I get, and I said it on podcast episodes before, I realized that the things that I went through when I was a child, even as an adult, they weren't necessarily for me. Like, they were for me to tell somebody else, hey, I went through that same thing, and this is what the other side looks like. So you have to continue on the path that you're on, believing that you're going to make it out, believing that you're going to have that white picket fence.
Yes.
House is beautiful, by the way. Your car is beautiful, by the way. But the thing is, like, you didn't necessarily see that growing up from people who are maybe upstanding citizens, maybe the drug dealers or whatever the case may be. I'm sure there was a few people that had, nice houses and cars or whatever in your neighborhood, but you understand what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
But I think that's dope, man. And then for you to be a teacher now, you can talk to the kids that's in inner city, going through the same things that you probably went through growing up, and say, hey, I know I'm a teacher. I know I got a suit on every day, but I was you. Now I was you back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. Yeah. And what I'm gonna correct you on, right? Not in a bad way, but something I tell my students, I'm not a teacher. I tell them, the first thing I tell any new student and laugh with them for the 4 years they're with me, that I'm not a teacher. I'm a leader, right? I'm an instructor. I'm a mentor, right? I'm a business owner, a father, and all that. But I'm not a teacher. And the reason why I say that is because I didn't go to school, obviously, the 4 years to learn all the pedagogy and all that other stuff that they tell you how to communicate in a proper way, in a proper fashion. I didn't do that. But what I do know is I lead and I instruct my students and really kind of, my extended family to follow a path that allows them to see success. Now, I can't guarantee success, but I can give you the vision and give you the process of the mission of how to achieve it. And that's why I believe teachers, those that are you're just focused on the craft and you don't have the passion behind it. So I'm not talking about the ones that have the passion, but the ones that just got into the craft and said, hey, listen, I'm off on the summers. Those people that don't have the passion and just are there for the paycheck are literally just regurgitating information from a book and repeating it to the next generation. And I think that's unfair. I think this generation needs to see experiences, feel experiences, feel the passion in order to understand the theory.
Got it. And not even the theory, but what's possible.
What's possible, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. And one of the things that I love doing, and I guess I will call myself an instructor as well, because I do the I guess a type of financial literacy, talking about budgeting and things like that, which I believe is the foundation of building any type of wealth, right? And seeing the light bulb go off.
That's it.
Of somebody's head to say, oh, I didn't realize that I was doing that, or oh, I didn't realize I was overspending, or oh, I didn't realize that I can invest, save, pay off things, and all the things that you need to do to have more money in your budget. So I really, really enjoy turning that light bulb on in people's heads, man. So I can only imagine what it's like when you're teaching the students, man.
Man, I have so many stories, and to sum them up, I've seen so many. I knew God put me in this position because I've seen so many students directly go from I'm a Versace, Balenciaga, Nike, whatever, to yo, did you see that stock? Did you see what Nike stock just did?
Oh,
Like that and I don't mean like they're coming in and just answering my questions or just trying to, satisfy, I guess, the things they think I might want to hear. Like they're literally passionately coming in as soon as the door open, like they call me Mr. Rob. Mr. Rob, yo, look at Bloomberg. You see what's going on? Like, and it's just amazing. And I do got to segue to this. One thing that just recently made me proud about them was, so I was at Senator Darius Brown, shout out to him, his economic symposium at the Chase Center yesterday. And my program was the only educational program, the Academy of Finance at Howard High School was the only educational program that was recognized at his symposium and spotlighted. And we were the first video, which, thank you, Senator Darius, because everybody was paying attention then, because after that they start networking. But I was there most of the morning, and my students were back at school, and they knew that the mayor was coming after that. So I had a busy day. So I'm with the senator and with people from the other parts of the Senate. And I left them back at the school, didn't talk to them all day, didn't prep them with anything, didn't really like go over anything about the mayor's coming. And the mayor comes. First of all, we do Dress for Success twice a week. So Monday and Wednesdays, it happens to be Wednesday. And the mayor comes with his team, one of them being Ashley Christopher, the CEO of HBCU Week and things of that nature. And so my students are all dressed up, ties on, everything, in a public school now, right? We go into the media center, and I introduced the mayor, which to be honest with you, I don't know the last time the mayor's come to our school, and is right around the corner from his office, right? So that's just a praise in itself for the program, not me, but for the program to bring the mayor to the school just for the program. And one of the first or second things he said was, this is a well-dressed group. Like, this is the best dressed group I've seen in Newcastle County, sorry. Right? And then when they start asking questions, he's like, man, these questions are going to keep getting harder. Like, they're asking about opportunity costs and things of that nature. And then at the end, and the reason why I brought out Ashley Christopher, I believe she asked me, hey, did you prep them? Like, or the mayor asked me, one of the two, like, did you prep them? I was like, no, I didn't. I was at the Chase Center all day. Like, I didn't prep them to ask you these questions and things of that nature. And mind you, they're standing up and they're professional. And they're like, Dad. So they knew what to do. They were really on point. And to me, to have that reaction, right, means a lot to me, because that means I can trust the youth to be leaders, to be professional, and to change impressions and to create valuable brands, right? And that's huge, because we're talking about a generation that everybody puts down. Like, hey, no, don't challenge them. Just pass them along, right? They got a 59. Just give them a 60. Pass them along, right? Don't give them homework. Like that's the new trend now. Don't give them homework. Don't have them do special projects. Like that's the new trend in education. Like don't put too much on the student. And I feel like with that being said, we are doing a disjustice to ourselves because these are the kids that are going to be taking care of us.
It's a fact. And our leaders.
And our leaders. I'm being selfish right now. These are kids are going to take care of I'm not trying to raise no person that's going to be lazy and I'm asking them to change my bedpan and they're like, nah, I ain't. You got that, no. We gotta, I feel like we really have to challenge our youth to be great.
Yes.
We have to challenge them. And I know it's a segue to another thing, but it goes back to, I know God put me in for a reason because I don't know too many people that would have challenged them the way I challenged them. Yeah. And I say that just because of the conversations I have with the students, how they feel like they're not challenged enough. And this is why they act out.
Wow. Bro, you said it. You said a whole lot, man. And based on the conversation that we're having now and the passion in which you're talking, which I didn't mention to the listeners and watchers, that you were Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, I don't even bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, but no, listen. And that's another thing that I have a problem with. Not you specifically, even myself. Like we do a lot of great things, bro, and we try to push them off to the side to not shine and all these things. I know that I do that myself. And you know me, and you know a lot of the things that I have going on and the things of that nature. And even when people try to give me accolades, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. But no, that's a big deal. Like the stuff that you're doing is a big deal. The stuff that we're doing is a big deal, man. And anything where you're trying to push an agenda and push people to be great, yo, that's a big deal, man. And you deserve to be applauded for that. And the passion in which you're talking and the things probably that you've seen growing up and didn't have growing up kind of put you in this position to be able to affect change in other people's lives. And that's a huge deal, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's big. And you should be applauded for that.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it. And I'm just going to say, we need to applaud you, which just for you to step out on faith, to do this podcast, to step out on faith, to change the legacy, and create a legacy with your family and your community. What you and Tanera are doing, right? What you and your extended family are doing is really impactful. And I'm not just saying it because you allowed me to be on this podcast, and that's a whole issue because no, I didn't duck you, sir. Didn't duck you. It's all about timing. Didn't duck you. There's a lot going on. But what y'all doing is really impactful, and it's going to change lives because these videos are going to last forever, right? And these videos are going to reach people that we probably will never meet. And it's going to be words and phrases that we say, that you say in particular, because you're on every video, you're the star of every one, right? And see, now you need some graphics to put some stars around you right now, just to let you know. But that being said, like you're really going to inspire people to think twice about how they move and about how their moves are impacting people that they will never meet. Yeah,
bro, I appreciate that, man, and don't worry about it. It's nothing. What I'm doing is nothing. I'm joking, man. I appreciate it, man, and I think we need to do that more. And I purposefully do that because I think that that's something that we as a people, Black people specifically, we need to give each other flowers. Like there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of jealousy, animosity, and things like that. But I feel like if we come together, big each other up. If I see something that's a blind spot for you and I pull you to the side instead of
Mhm.
let you just continue to move the way you move, and then without pulling you to the side, like, yo, you could probably do this different. And that could probably set you on a course to be, doing whatever you're trying to do, maybe get you there a little faster, or with a less bumps and bruises that you got to take along the way. Like, we need to do that, man. And
Yeah.
and that's what this platform is about as well. Like, we bigging people up and giving people their flowers and all that stuff. So enough with this love fest, by the way. All right. I mean, we're going, I mean, enough of that. But
Oh God. Okay.
we really need to do that more. But one of the things that you're doing with the kids, man, and you had said it earlier, is they're wearing Balenciagas, and they're talking about Versace and all these different things, and getting them into that mindset, as opposed to having Nikes on, or the latest Nike or Jordan or whatever. Why don't you own the thing, own the stocks, and get in that mindset? And I feel like if I had maybe known that information earlier, then maybe where would I be? And I'm
Yes.
okay right now. You know what I'm saying? So when you first got there and you saw that was going on with the kids, how did you help change that mindset for them?
All right. So this is where I really need a lawyer, right? So
As much as you can share, as much as you can share.
Let me just say, I'm just glad there's no cameras in the classroom. But
you smoke crack, don't you, Sam's? You and Joe Clark. I see.
But I will say this, right? The one of my fondest memories that I have at the beginning of my teaching career, which the program, the Academy of Finance that they allowed me to be a leader of, only had like 8 students in there when I joined, especially for the graduating class. And one of the students on my first year, my last day of my first year. So think about the mindset. Like, this is my first year and my last day, and I'm about to just go and enjoy the summer. So my mind is like summertime, like Will Smith, right? And I get into the biggest argument in front of the front door of the school, in front of the principal's office, with a student.
Wow.
And I'm telling you this story because I am going to answer your question. That student, I believe, was at that time trying to break my spirit. Like, this is not for you. Don't come back. Almost like that. What is it? Lean on me, whatever. Like, right, East Side High kind of situation. And I really prayed, and I was like, you know what? I'm coming back because you're not going to break me. Yeah. And speed the story up, come back to the school. My mind is set on, let somebody else do that again. Let's see what happens, right? They're going to get it. Yeah. And that student came back, because mind you, the student said they were transferring. And they came back first day. And I can say his name because Nassim. And he said, listen, Mr. Rob, I did some research on you, and I heard about you, and whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. And because I know you came here to change me, in so many words. And it really took me back. So, I was on my Diddy joint. I was like, well, you got to go get this pie from across the bridge, right? Yeah. Walk over there. And no, but he did everything that I asked him to do from there on. And mind you, he had a low GPA, blah, blah, blah. And I got him, along with the help of Miss Peony, who was our co-op coordinator. I got him a job at a company that is like a multi-million-dollar, $100 million electrical firm. They build the Chase Center, all types of places. And he went in there and he changed them. He was one of the few, if not the only African-American male in this company at the age of 17, 18. He's hobnobbing with the owner, who's a $100 millionaire, right? And he did so well that the owner was willing to pay for him to go to UPenn or Drexel, give him a car at the age of 18 now. And he didn't have the grades to do it,
Sure.
but he stayed there. And then he created, at the age of 19, I believe, 19, 20, he created a whole department for them that expanded to Baltimore, Jersey, and was in Delaware. It was like a community outreach department. Age of 19, 20, he was on the cover of a Delaware magazine, right? And then he did so well, another company poached him from them.
Bro, I'm
So
gonna let you finish your story real quick. I just want to make sure that you don't let that bar, the bar that you said in the very beginning, go over your head, because I think a lot of people give up too soon. You faced adversity with the kid. You argued in front of it. Think about if you had left. Then what? So if I'm talking to you, not you, Jamai, if I'm talking to you and you're facing adversity and you have a goal and you have a dream, you got to keep going, because you don't know who you could be affecting if you quit, or if you don't quit, who you could be affecting in a positive way. So Jamai, I'm sorry, finish your story, but I didn't want that to go over people's head, because that was big, man. Go ahead. Pause.
No, I mean, and thank you for stopping me, to be honest with you. This is your show. Stop me anytime. But no, that story just goes to the testament of, like, how did I change them? I changed them because I showed them, as you said, I think that was a great segue, right? I'm not giving up on you, right? You literally going to have to lean on me, because I'm not giving up on y'all. I'm not. And I'm going to push y'all to a place of being uncomfortable. So that's my saying with them, right? I train them to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they're okay with that now. Like they actually are mad at me if I don't make them uncomfortable.
Bro, that's the zone that we all need to live in. And I'm realizing that at 44 years old, like, being uncomfortable is the best place you can be for you as an individual, to push past the uncomfortable place that you are. That's where the greatness is, bro.
It is.
That's where it is. And like, if you get uncomfortable, and you stay there, you're only going to get better and better and better. And that's dope, man. So in this program, you also place people in different jobs and facilities and things of that nature, or you
so I help with that. We have a co-op coordinator who does that, but I put the dots together in the sense of how I just run my program. So my program, I invite a lot of guest speakers in there. So essentially, I'm gonna want you to come, because I'm probably going to show them this video, right? So they won't know who you are. You're gonna get a lot of subscribers real quick, right? But yeah, I bring a lot of people into the program because of my network. Like Big Brothers Big Sisters help me out. Bank of America comes in with their mentor program, and now I have Barclays that's helping me with my Young Financial Leaders Camp that's going to be held in June 17th, on the week of Juneteenth, and we're reenacting Black Wall Street. So that's a whole nother conversation I got ready for you about Black Wall Street. Right, 1899. Just remember that date, 1899. But that being said, it allows me to use that network to put the students in different places. Like, we have students that work for the Department of Labor, right? Where the Department of Labor, like, we're not sure about having kids, and now they're like, oh, we love them. Like, keep them coming, right? We have students that are working for Code Differently, a programming course or kind of company organization that's helping students kind of just excel in coding and cybersecurity and things of that nature. We just had Thoroughthreads. Oh my God, one of my biggest partners, helping me with my Wildcat merch, or y'all would say school store. So all these different networks of people, and there's people I'm probably forgetting. Don't get mad. I'm not really forgetting you, but I just want to be short on the time of going over this. All these networks are allowing me to be a vessel to connect them with these great leaders and this next generation of talent. And I thank them for that. And I know that's one of my talents, is I'm just a connector. I'm just a middleman, right?
Bruh, man, there are so many, so many bars in this episode, man. And if you live for any length of time, other cultures, I'll say, are dot connectors for their culture. And if you worked in corporate, you'll see a lot of people who look like each other are working with each other, if that makes sense, without,
Yeah.
and you're on the outside looking in like, yo, how do I get in to this position when there's no opportunity to do that, because they don't want to know you, because they know that they know themselves. When we can do the job just as good as anybody else. And the fact that you're connecting the dots as somebody who looks like them is huge, man. And I'm only saying that from experience, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for us to be able to create opportunities for each other is a huge deal, man. So golly, man.
No, thank you. And I'm gonna jump right on the tail of that. As you were talking, it made me think about how I never had an African American teacher, as far as African American male teacher my whole entire life.
Wow.
Never. So I really stand on that pride point, because just looking around for what I know in education and what I research, I think is less than 1%, and I might be wrong with the statistics, but it's really small, of African American males that are in the system as far as the school system. But it's probably over 70, 80% of African American males that are in the system.
Wow.
So just just soak that in. Like, we're asking our youth to be leaders, right?
Yep.
And to lead a community, but they don't see themselves as leaders in the community.
Yeah. And
But
you're giving them the tools to do that. They're seeing you, and you're giving them the tools to do it. And you're connecting the dots. Hey, you want to do this? You're a good student. You're a leader. I see you as a leader. Hey, go talk to this person.
Yes.
Hey, connect with this person. And they know, and that person that you're sending them to knows that you know you, and they know that you're not going to send them no BS, because you're
Nope. I will come, and let me be careful. I'll make sure things are handled. Let me say that. I'll make sure things are handled. My students, they know they will not go anywhere and not be professional and respect those that they're speaking to. Like, my students cannot even interrupt the conversation I'm having with another adult without saying, "Excuse me," or waiting there patiently, because I won't acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Until they show that respect.
That's
and these are the soft skills that I believe are lost in education, right? Because we're afraid to challenge them with the soft skills, because you think the parents are going to get mad, or the community is going to get mad. Like, why are you saying that to my kid? Like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I teach them about respect?
Yeah. Because if they do it to you, then if they either work a corporate job, they'll probably do it to them, or if they have their own business, they'll probably do it to a customer or whatever the case may be, and then lose money and lose business, and then they'll go out of. So it's a lot.
You ever see? Look, I gotta tell you. Ever go up to a cash register, and the young person, let me say, I'm gonna be proper right now, is texting or talking on the phone with their friend, like, hold up, like, gives you the finger, and you like, where did you learn that from? Like, I didn't think that's okay.
I'm thinking of a place right now that I'm not going to anymore. Now that I'm thinking about it, and it's right here in Middletown. I go there often, and the service is awful, but the food is good. And I'm not going back there, man. I'm not, because I just had an incident, matter of fact, this week, and I got no phone call back. I called, I emailed, nothing. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm not good enough to get a phone call back, then my money's not.
And there's many layers to that, because who's the manager? The manager might be someone young and unprofessional, And then obviously the person you experienced were young, most likely young and unprofessional, right? So why are we allowing this to be the norm? Why are we allowing the level of excellence not to be expected?
I agree.
Right. And that's just one thing that I won't have in my program, right? I just won't have it. And even when I have tours that come through my program, so long story short, like my program is the #1 demanded program for the last 5 years. I've only been teaching for 6.
Let's go.
Right. So, and then look, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Right.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, anytime someone comes to do a tour for my program, I don't stop teaching. You know why? Because I want them to experience the program while they're there. And you know who speaks to them? My students. And I have a leadership team for each grade level, right? President, vice president, all that good stuff. And the leadership team gets up, speaks to the parent, give them the rundown, asks them respectful questions, invites them in to experience. Like, it's a whole process that teaches them or gets them ready for when they're out in the workforce, or how to handle themselves when they have visitors or unexpected people, right? They're always on their toes, right? And then the Wildcat Merch, the school story I told you about, I have a CEO, right? I have a whole C-suite, CMO, all that stuff. Like, I'm teaching them to understand, hey, this is where you're going to be. I'm not even going to say this is where you want to be. This is where you're going to be.
Yeah.
If you learn to operate in excellence. So that's, I guess I'm just bringing this up to say, I believe education should really focus on operating in excellence, not operating to allow these students to just survive, but to thrive. If we set the standard of thriving, there is no mention of surviving. There is no, we need no child left behind laws, because they're thriving.
Yep. And thrivers hang around thrivers.
Exactly.
And if you're not a thriver in that group, you're going to strive to be a thriver, because you're going to end up getting left behind.
Yes.
What's going on, family? This is Che Willis from Wealth as a Journey podcast. I don't know if you guys know, but I help families who are living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. If this is you, or you know somebody, go to wealthisajourney.com to book a free discovery call to see if we're a good fit to work with each other for either budgeting, or if you're a beginner investor, again, you can book a free discovery call to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. Again, wealthisajourney.com, wealthisajourney.com. Let's get back to the episode. Brother, oh man, I didn't even know we were going to go here, man. This is good, man. This is really good. Now, you have the Young Financial Leaders Camp.
Yes.
What are the ages that it's for? Yeah. Make sure you get that QR code. What are the age groups that you are allowing people to sign up? Is there an application fee? Like what? Yeah. And what are they going to get with this camp?
So the Young Financial Leaders Camp is brought to you by the Financial Manifest Foundation, which is a nonprofit that I started just based on just wanting to really attack the lack of financial literacy. So that's why it's called the Financial Manifest. And if you know anything about a manifest, like a plane, right? There's a plan already set for us. It just depends on what seat we get in that's going to dictate our experience, right? That's just life. And I want to put the youth in the right seat. So the youth that I'm really focusing on are students from 9th grade to 12th grade, right? And that being said, those students are going to not only experience conversations around finance, right? They're going to do health and wellness. Shout out to Cam, right? And Cam has helped me out in so many different ways with connecting me with Kev from Barclays, who's really been a huge sponsor of the Young Financial Leaders Camp that's coming up. So Barclays, thank you, Kev. Kevin Williams, just thank you so much. And then, of course, Ryan for Junior Achievement, because we're going to be using the Junior Achievement of Delaware building. And Ryan is one of the directors over there in Wilmington. And we're going to have these students come in. The goal is free of charge. Yes, free. Like F.
Oh, so there's no excuse. There is no excuse for you not to get this information.
The only excuse is if you sign up late, and trust me, once this list really gets out there, there's not going to be room for people. I'm just, it's going to be exclusive. I'm not going to lie to you. So scan the QR code. I know people are probably on their phone, but play it back. Or you can go to the Financial Manifest Foundation on Facebook. All right.
I'll put the information in the description also. So you
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, given that information, we're partnered with a couple people and looking to partner with some more people that we're going to have at the camp that's going to focus on finance, but also is going to focus on health and wellness, right? And that's where Cam is going to come in play. As you know, Cam is a beast when it comes to health and wellness, right? And I encourage everybody, go get her book, right? Go get her book about forgiveness, right? Yes. But yeah, so we're going to focus on that. And then the main thing that, and I mentioned it earlier, that is a passion project of mine is this. I'm going to put this in the screen. I don't know if you can get this, right? So I don't know if you know what these dates are.
That's Black Wall Street, right? I know you had mentioned it earlier.
Yep.
So talk about it.
So Black Wall Street, right, was around for 22 years. So my question, when I hold this up and I speak about it, why is this not a part of our history lessons?
Agreed.
Something that was around for 22 years, right? Yeah. Has 6,000 or more people that was involved in it. This is my passion project, right? We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be educating our students on this because they have to see that the wealth was already there. Yeah. And it was taken from us, and it's time to get it back. In all shapes, cultures, ways, whatever. Everybody needs to be a part of that wealth journey, right? That you're speaking about, right? And then I want to bring this up because everybody jokes about that, the 40 acres of the mule. This is who started it, right? In 1889, he said, listen, I'm going to buy 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to make this a whole community where people can thrive. And it was just a beast because he had another partner, right? And they opened up hotels in the middle of the country. Can you imagine, like, the middle of nowhere, you're opening up in a hotel where people can stay at? It's salons, barbershop, shoe shop. Like, we're all gonna thrive. We're all gonna make this money together. Yeah. 40 acres, 32 blocks. And this is history that is not spoken about. It's not talked about. And I believe it's because then you're promoting confidence, self-awareness. You're promoting kings and queens. Yep. And if you do that, you're going to be, we're giving people the power to overcome obstacles. And if we give them the power to overcome obstacles, then we don't have any workers.
And it gives people, again, belief. Hey, they did it. We built this community in hotels and saloons and things like that out of in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. So one of the partners, right, was this guy named J.B. Stafford, right? He was the son of a slave owner. Now, yeah, I put this in context. So he came into Tulsa as a son of a slave owner, but he came into Tulsa as a lawyer.
Wow.
So can you think about that? Like, it's not like now where, all right, you can sue somebody because they didn't hire you because you were Black or you were Spanish or Asian, whatever, right? We're talking about back in the day where that didn't matter. We talking about 1899, right? They didn't care about all that stuff. And he became a lawyer after being really branded as the son of a slave owner and said, hey, I'm going to come into Tulsa and we're going to build some businesses. So people like that can overcome those adversities when truly the laws were made to hold them down and to keep them down. Why can't we overcome adversities now? Why do we keep blaming other people for our shortcomings? Why do we keep saying, oh, people coming into our neighborhood and they're taking our houses and they're gentrifying the area? No, why don't you own that house? Because you got them Balenciagas on? Like, why don't you own that house? But you got the rims and you got the car, you got the system, but you can't take that money and put the down payment on a house. You can put, before the interest rates was all crazy, you can put $1,000 down on a house. 2000 with the first time home buyers program. You got all these grants that are out there. But you know what a lot of these youth are doing? They're TikToking. You're gonna TikTok for this guy who to me is the weirdest thing, because you got this guy who's a multi-billionaire, can see every video, and you're hyped to give him every part of your body on TikTok, right? But you don't take the same amount of time to type and use your Twitter fingers to research how to be a part of the first time home buyers program so you can get a house. How does that make any sense? And this person, you know, all right, I'm not coming at TikTok, right? But I'm coming at the process of it. You're giving so much time to this person who's really not paying.
Yeah.
And you're not paying yourself using that same time to buy or create an asset. But you have people who were the sons of slaves, who had no internet, who had nothing, but figured out how to be a lawyer, first of all, in a racial society or a racist society, and then said, okay, now I'm making money as a lawyer. I'm still not going to waste my money because now I'm a lawyer on shoes and suits. I'm going to take my money and invest it in this dirt and make Black Wall Street and have it survive for 22 years so everybody can be wealthy. Why can't that be done now?
Right. It's, man, I that's a whole nother podcast episode, but I think it's foresight, man. Like, leaders have foresight. They see past today. They see down the road. They see far. They see in the future. And if you can keep the future in mind of everything that you're doing, you'll probably make better decisions. Instead of buying those Balenciagas, let me own Balenciaga, or let me own Gucci, let me own Tesla, or whatever the thing is, and let me budget my money so I'll have the money to buy the Balenciaga stock or LVMH, whatever the case may be. But it's again, it goes back to the things that you're doing, because it's giving people the belief that they can do the things because they're taught something different that they see on TikTok or they see on Instagram or they even see in their neighborhood, for that matter. And again, man, it's commendable what you're doing, because you're giving those people different ideas on how to do life different. And then when people's eyes are open to the possibilities of what they can be, we're out of here, man.
Yes, I agree.
And that's the fight, man. That's the fight, man. And that's the fight. That's the fight, because like it starts with belief that you can do it. Once you have that belief that you can do it, then it becomes the plan, and then it's the execution of the plan. And that's why the believe, plan, execute thing is a real thing with me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that shirt when you wear that shirt. Yeah,
I appreciate that, but it's really that simple. That's it. You believe, you plan, you execute. And if you don't know how to plan and you do have the belief, we have to have the foresight and the wherewithal to figure it out. Like, nobody's coming to save us. You have to do the thing that you want to do, and like, you have to take the steps. And once you take the steps, then God and your friends and whatever you believe, the universe is going to conspire to help you complete your goal, but you got to take the step.
Yes.
You have to, yo. Have
You know
to.
how many times I've failed? Like I tell my students all the time, you ain't doing nothing until you fail.
Facts.
You so I don't know if you know what where the name WD-40 came from?
No.
So WD-40 came from 39 times of failure. No, they're serious. Look it up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They failed 39 times in making a formula.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that process? I keep failing, but I'm going to keep going until this makes sense. On the 40th time, you know what? We got something. And that's a brand that will never go away. Another one that is probably old school, Formula 409. Can you imagine failing 408 times? Now, let me go to one of Derek's favorites. Yeah, I don't know if I should say his last name, but he was on this podcast in the early episode. Let me just say that. Right?
Yeah.
You know how they came up with the blue pill?
Oh, that's wild.
Let me just say that. There was some failure involved, right?
Uh-huh.
They were trying to solve what? Diabetes, right? Think about it. So failure creates success. Yes. You have to be okay with that. We didn't even get into the real estate aspect of what I do. We didn't even get into the daycare aspect of what I do, or the consulting. Right?
You coming back, bro.
Because the reason why I bring that up is because I failed in all those areas, right? But I pushed past it, and I believe that I'm pretty good now in all those areas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got it.
Bro, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and you will absolutely be back, and we're gonna get into the real estate, we're gonna get into daycare, and that's why I said, like, we didn't even get into, like, I didn't realize that the podcast was going this direction, but I'm glad it did, and I'm glad that you weren't on the podcast when I first asked you to be on the podcast, because this is the conversation that we were supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to have this conversation, and make sure that you guys, whoever is watching, listening, that you go sign up. I don't know if the spots are limited or whatever the case may be,
Yes,
but
they are.
This is the guy that you want teaching your kids, man. He was not the number one teacher for no reason. He's not getting the results with his students for no reason. Being able to turn a young person's mind from what they see on Instagram as being cool to now not doing those things, and then focusing your energies on something that's going to give them a return later.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you want teaching your kids.
Thank you.
This is the guy you want teaching your kids. So, Jamai, I don't know if you have any parting words, man, but I really, really appreciated this conversation. It was really, really good. And hopefully everybody else appreciated it as much as I did having it.
No, I appreciate it. And my parting words is, right, failure is an option. It's what you do after you fail that allows you to gain wealth. Failure is an option.
Facts.
So some people saying failure is not an option. I just don't. I don't know not one person that was perfect in life.
Facts. Facts.
So you got to be okay with that, and then move on, and let's get this money.
Absolutely, let's get this money. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys again enjoyed this conversation as much as I did having it. This was a really, really dope conversation with a really, really dope dude. And Jamai too.
Let's go Eagles! Let's go Eagles!
Oh, boo, boo! Hey, man, this is the Cowboys are going to be. By the time people watch this, the Cowboys are going to be at the top of the division. We're going to the Super Bowl, and that's it. That's the parting words from me. Wealth is a journey. Let's go.